Hi everyone, and thank you for joining again. In this video I have a beautiful new design for you. Like you can see here, it's a cute little handbag closed with magnetic knobs. Like this. It has a little top handle. This is how it looks like. In this tutorial we work with Voluhax rope yarn. These are the details of the yarn. Like this. This yarn. And I will work with this beautiful Addi crochet hook in the size 3.5 millimeter. As usual, everything you will need is linked in the video description. So, let's start. At first we will of course make our slip knot. And then we will make 35 chains. Like this. If you would like to increase the size of your bag and make it wider, you can just add more chains, but please make sure that you chain in an uneven number. So as I said, for the size of my bag, I need 35 chains. Now we start in chain number 3, counted from the hook, and make a slip stitch like this. Then we make a half double crochet and a slip stitch again. And a half double crochet again. And you might already know what we'll do now. Right, a slip stitch. This pattern is called the crunch stitch, and I will link a separate tutorial for this stitch in the video description as well. But basically you will now go on with slip stitch and half double crochet and turn. So this is how it should look like now. This is the other side. This is the side we are working on. Now there are 2 chains left. And what I would like to show you here is that it is important to end the row with a slip stitch in the last chain. Then we chain 2. We always chain 2 between the rows. And starting in the second loop, this one here, we will make a slip stitch. Then we make a half double crochet and a slip stitch again. So you always make a slip stitch in top of the half double crochet of the previous row and a half double crochet in the slip stitch of the previous. This is how it looks like then. And again go on like this until the end of the row. So again, I have 3 stitches left here, slip stitch, half double crochet. And this is what I actually wanted to show you here, because it's important that you always end on a slip stitch, but it's quite easy to oversee that you have this chain 2 area here, and this is the area where you make the slip stitch. So don't skip that, because otherwise your stitch count is off. And as you can see, I just poked in one of the loops here because I didn't really reach the chain itself, but this is totally fine in the first row. In the next rows it will be easier to reach or to poke through the chain. So in the first row is totally fine if you just weave one of the loops. And again we start in the second loop of the row and make a slip stitch here. Then again half double crochet, slip stitch, and so on. So this is how our bag should look like now. In total I made 50 rows here. And again, if you would like to make your bag higher, then just add further rows. Now we will work once all around the bag to straighten the edges. And you always have these little loops here. So left from my hook you see this little loop, this one here, and you always poke in on the right and on the left of this little loop. So I start on the left of this loop to get a better edge here, and from there on you always poke in on the right of this little loop like this, and on the left of this little loop. Then on the right again. And on the left. And as you can see, we get a very nice edge here. So, as I already said, always right and left from this little loop here. You go on for the whole side. Then you use this loop here to make a single crochet, a chain, and a single crochet. Then on this side you poke in here, then here, then there again, and then here again, and so on. And you always make a single crochet there. Then on this side, so wait, here you use the loop of the slip knot to make single crochet, chain single crochet for the corner. And then again you have the little loops on this side, but they are located on the other side of the bag. Like you can see here, you still have them here. And again you poke in on the right and on the left of the loop. And again you do that for the whole side. On this side you have this loop here where you make single crochet, chain single crochet. And then on the last side, I think it's clear where you have to poke in. So, and this is how it should look like then. As you can see, we have the perfect rectangle now with super nice sides. And we end the row with a fake stitch. At least I call it fake stitch. I already cut the thread here a little longer so that I can weave it in. And now you poke in like this below the first loop, pull the thread through, and then you poke in like this through the middle of the current single crochet and bring the thread back through the middle here. And now, as you can see, we created this loop here that perfectly looks like a single crochet, which is why I call it fake stitch. Now you just weave in the thread. This is how it looks. So for the bottom of the bag, this is the bottom. I started with 13 chains, then made 12 single crochet per row, and in total I am at 35 rows. 34 rows. I'm sorry, 34 rows. 12 single crochet in each row and 34 rows. If you place the bottom of the bag on the main part, it should be on line on the one side, and on the other side there should be the height of one row single crochet missing, like you just saw, because we will now work along the long side and the short side, and we will do that like follows. We will always poke in this upper loop here like this, make a single crochet, then poke in below this lower loop here, like this, and I poked through the yarn, which you shouldn't do, so let's try that again. Poke in like this and single crochet, Then again, poke in through the upper loop here, like this. And then in this lower loop here, like this. For the lower loops, it actually doesn't matter if you just poke in below one loop or below both loops. It will look the same in the end. So you might have noticed in the first lower loop single crochet I poked in below both of the loops, and the second time I only poked in below one of them, so doesn't make a difference. This is how it looks like. Then you go on like this for this whole side and along the small side. But first of all, we will have a look at the edge here. This is the loop that we will use. And I won't make a chain or anything here, but just go on with single crochet. Like this. So you saw that I made single crochet in the shown loop, and now I'm already working in the foundation chain and make single crochet here. So I didn't double anything or didn't make chain and double or whatever, but just go on here. And this is how the edge looks like then. Now this is the finished row. And now when you place it on the top of the bag, it should be in the same size, like this. To start the sides now, we will chain one, turn around, and then we work in the front loop only. That means we poke in like this in the front loop only and make single crochet. And again, front loop only like this and single crochet. Front loop only, single crochet, and as you can see, you get this nice little edge here. These are the back loops that will remain visible, and the sides will start to bend up in this way. So let me work a little faster here to reach the edge. Nope, front loop only. And now we come to the edge or corner, I think is the better word. And again, we just work single crochet one on one. We don't increase the stitches, we don't make a chain or anything. Only thing that you can make is that you work in a looser tension here, but except of that you don't have to make anything special, but just work single crochet. So if we now have a look at it, you can see that the sides start to bend up like this. So you just go on like this and meet me again here. This is where we are now. Our first row for the sides. And again we will now chain 1, turn around, and from now on we will work in both loops again. So the front loop was only for the first row, and from now on work normal single crochet. So I reach the corner again, and again I don't do anything special here. I don't double stitches, I don't make a chain, but just go on single crochet 1 on 1. Only thing that I do is loosen the tension a little. And you get this nice little corner here. So now you just go on like this, working single crochet in both loops in the normal way, always 1 on 1, don't increase anything, chain at the end of the row, and just go on back and forth. In total I made 17 rows for this bag. Again, if you would like, or if you increase the height of the bag for the top already, then just add further rows here. And I already sew on 2 layers of plastic canvas here. Just center pulled a part of the yarn and made few stitches to fix the plastic canvas. Now this is how the top will be placed on the bag. And we will use slip stitches to fix the top. So the 17 rows unfortunately ended on the wrong side, so it's a little difficult for me to get this on camera properly. But basically you will have to place the corner of the top in the corner of the main part of the bag, and then see where you have to start. So hold the corner like this. I already chained 1 in case you missed that. And then what you will do is to poke in the 1 loop here of the main part like this. Then you poke in this lower loop. You have the upper and lower loops again here on the edge of the main part of the body, and then slip stitch like this. Then again poke in this 1 loop here of the top, then poke in, so a little close up here. So as you can see, we have the top and the bottom loops again. Now it's the top loop where I poke in, and slip stitch and again poke in on this, through this loop, then through this lower loop here, and slip stitch. Then again this loop, and then the upper loop here, and slip stitch. And this is how you go on. So you poke in this loop, then in this loop here, slip stitch, then in this loop, then in this upper loop here, and slip stitch, and again this loop, the lower loop, and so on. And in this way you go all around the bag. Now for the handle, I started with 3 chains, made 2 single crochet per row and 4 rows in total. Then we will push the hook on it and bend our crochet piece around like this. Like this. Now we will make 2 chains. Poke in the other side here and make a single crochet. Then make a single crochet in the next loop, and a single crochet in the next, then again chain 2, and again poke in the other side. As you can see here, I only poke in the back loop because it's easier to reach, and single crochet. And from now on you just work single crochet in the back loop only. You can also work in both loops if you reach them, but for me it's easier to reach only the back loop. And just work in spirals until the handle is long enough for you. Like this. And as soon as it is long enough, we will meet again and see how to fix the other hook. So I decided to make a rather short handle, 10 centimeters, 4 inches. And now we will fix the second loop hook. Therefore, we now chain 1, and like you know, we started with a little crochet piece of 2 single crochet. So we now make 2 single crochet again for 4 rows. So chain 1 again, next row, chain 1, turn around, 3rd row, and the last row. Now we cut the thread, pull it through, and again we place the hook around it like this. And now you just have to bend the crochet part around and use the thread to sew it on. And the handle is finished. Now the rest of the hardware. The D-rings I just fixed with a few stitches of the yarn, or with the yarn. For the magnetic knobs, I made little squares here. I started with 5 chains, so I made 4 single crochet per row and 3 rows in total. The lower part of the knob you just poke through the back and bend around the spikes, and this upper D-rings here are fixed with little screws. And if you would like to sew on a little label, then you can do the following. You just take part of the thread and use this single strand here to sew it on. Then you have the same color like the back for your sewing thread. And that's it. I hope you like your new bag, and if you like the tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.